Hey there, welcome back to the channel. So in big news, the Travelall is back. I got it back about a week and a half ago. It is running and driving. It's not running well, and so I've got to basically start fooling seriously with the fuel injection system. I'm not sure what's going on yet. I think it's probably a fuel to air mixture thing, probably some other stuff, but I've got to do some major tuning. So I've been reading, or actually watching a lot of videos to try to sort out what's going on with that. But it's mobile, it's great. So I can actually get it in gear, I can move it forward, I can move it back. It wants to die on acceleration, which is weird. And the really funny thing is, I can drive it all day backwards, but moving forwards, it wants to die. So there's some stuff going on there I've got to sort out. I've been doing some small stuff with the trucks. I'll show you in a couple minutes, but I've been swamped at work, and I'm going to be swamped at work for probably the next 2 weeks. So my posts here are going to be pretty sparse, but I'll try to update as much as I can. So let's get into the video here. So here I am in the parking lot of my transmission shop. It's down in the back. He's got a closed lot, which is really cool, but it's on a slight decline. Basically, it's at the bottom of a little hill, and I could not, for love or money, get the truck up this hill. Every time I would get on the accelerator, she wanted to die, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I mean, I was flooring it, and it bogged out and died. I gave it a bunch of tries. You can see here, I'm just, going up and rolling back down. One nice thing is that my amateur brake job seems to be working. It's not pulling, feels really good. It's all holding. I haven't blown any of the cylinders or any of the fittings out or anything like that. So my first major brake job went pretty well. I'm pretty psyched about that. I gave this a bunch of tries. I would really try to hang with it because I really wanted to drive it home. You can see here I'm just sort of inching it forward, get it to about there, and she just dies out on me again. At this point, I was getting a little nervous because I had to jump on a train and head down to DC later that afternoon, and I didn't want to be late for that. So I didn't want to get in this thing and then get halfway home and get stuck and then have to wait for a tow and then be late for work and all that other kind of stuff, and it was a bit too much. So I figured I'd give it one more shot. You can see here I'm sort of listening to it to try to figure out what's going on with the idle. I think I'm probably looking down at the Sniper to see if I can figure out anything from the readings. So I figured what I'd do is I would back it up a little bit and get a running start. I cannot tell you how nice it is to be able to put this thing into gear and have it move. It's been over 2.5 years now, and it's just, you wouldn't believe how good a feeling that is, but also how frustrating it is that I can't get it to run properly. I'm kind of, at this point, I'm thinking about yanking the Sniper back off of it and just running it with a carburetor, just so I can run it. I don't know if that would make me an idiot or a chicken or a loser or what, but I just want to drive the damn thing. And I keep getting into the Sniper software, and it just looks very, very, very challenging. And I know that I can, at least get a carburetor running and moving. I don't know, we'll see. I think at this point I had given it up. Oh no, wait, I'm one more time up the hill. Okay, yeah, so here I'm lining it up. I'm just gonna get it running and put it back in the parking lot. Transmission shop is super cool. They said, yeah, just, let us know when you can get a tow truck there. I think I called the guy on the way home and had him schedule it for the next day. And they dropped it off the next day. And it's weird, I thought I had filmed them dropping it off, but for whatever reason, I can't find any of that footage, so I'm kind of kicking myself about that. So here I am in the driveway, and now I'm trying to get it moved out so I can actually sort of align it in the driveway a little bit better. And this was actually pretty easy because all I had to do was just inch it forward and then inch it back. And you can see here, very quick. What I was trying to do here was pull it out into the center of the driveway, so I had to do a bunch of jockeying my cars to get it out there. I've got 4 cars, and my driveway is just narrow enough that you can fit 2 cars abreast, but it's not comfortable. So typically moving things around takes a little bit of doing. And I wanted to get this thing out in the center so I could crawl underneath it and not have to crawl around in the mud for the first time. You can see here she just doesn't want to go forward for whatever reason. One thing I did notice when I was moving this around in the driveway, I actually pulled it out into the middle of the driveway. The steering on this thing is a bitch. I can tell you I cannot wait to get electric steering in this thing because it is like moving a tractor. So we're moving that up to the top of the list once this thing is actually running. What you're seeing here are the 3 hubcaps that I got with the truck and the 3 that I just got last weekend. So clearly I need one more good one because these are actually not as good as I thought they were. I've got another one of my spares that's got a big dent in it. And then the ones on the truck, these are the 2 that I cleaned off last week. And I don't think that they have, these are not chromed. I think these are like some other metal because they immediately started rusting when I put them on the truck. So I cleaned the rust off and clear coated them. I'm going to leave them on here for now, but I'd like to get 4 of the kind that I got last week with the nice center section. So I just took a minute and put these spare gauges into a panel that I had. I think I got this from the truck up in Pittsburgh, just to see what the whole thing would look like. Actually, it looks pretty cool. This is the old instrument cluster from the Travelall with a mix and match of gauges. So you can see here what the original gauges pretty much look like. The ones I have in the truck now are all with this black background. I've got some that have silver, I've got some that have gold. The gold, as you can see, matches this thing. I like the black faces the best. These are really nice because they're all cut out for lights in the back. So I don't know, that could be an interesting upgrade to the truck or something. I don't know, I'll have to think about that. But for now, I'm going to put these aside. I like those. Just wanted to show you the difference between those. I've been working on putting in new weather stripping for the rear doors because there's a giant gap up here in the rear doors and I wanted to seal it up. So I got this different weather stripping, which is basically instead of this single stuff that looks like this, it's got an extra bunch of foam on the outer edge that you can put in here, and that seals up against the door. When I started closing the door, I found that the bottom part of the door wasn't closing, so I trimmed a bunch of it off here. It doesn't look great, but the door closes now. But then, when I was closing the door, the window broke, which is a real bummer. I have another piece of glass for this door in the garage, but I'm really pissed off at myself about that. I don't know how that happened. I guess just the force of me slamming the door shut, because you really do kind of have to slam the door shut to get this part of it to close. I think I may trim off a little bit more up here, but that's a bummer. I'm really peeved about that. Yeah, I'll trim off. I'll probably start here and go down and just trim the rest of that off. Dang it. This is my spare rear door, and this is where I'm going to harvest the glass that I just broke. So what I've got to start doing is figuring out how to break this thing down so I can pull the glass out. If this is anything like any of the other doors that I've dealt with for internationals, pull the two clips, unhook the regulator. I think I can leave the actual latch mechanism in it. I'll probably pull the surround out, and I think this thing, it could come out from the top or the bottom. I'm not entirely sure which way it goes, but this will be my test case. So I'll start working on that maybe this week if I get any time. Here's a little project I've been working on this evening while I had a little bit of time. This is a metal plate that screws in behind the dash bezel here, and what this is for is it's a mounting plate for the sniper unit. If I'm out driving or whatever and I want to have this up here, I want to have it up here, but if I want to hide it, I want to be able to pull it off and stick it up underneath here. So this will, I'll put some Velcro or something on the back of this, and this will just basically hook up right here. I built this so that it's easily, you can take it out really easy. It screws in with these 2 screws. There's an access hole here to get behind that one. So I'm going to pull this out now. This will get painted the same gray as this piece and this piece, and the headliner bows when they're ready for paint. One of the things I wanted to do is dig out some of my roof mounts because I wanted to start thinking about where these are going to go and how I'm going to put these on. They're all in good shape. I just need to start thinking about the crossbars and how I want to build a basket for this thing, because eventually this will get a basket of some kind, but I'm going to make that. I'm thinking when I make that, I want to make it out of aluminum, and so I'll need to practice some TIG welding to do that. I've got a rough plan of what I'm thinking about, but I've got to figure out where I'm going to get the actual materials, and then, again, practice my TIG welding. In the meantime, Scout's running really good. I've been taking it out as much as I possibly can, enjoying having it in the summertime. So theoretically, I've got this thing running off of the laptop. So here's what I've got. You can see here the AFR is bouncing all over the place. And it does this business. It's still very cold. It's not warm at all. So I'm sure it's still learning right now. Yeah, it went rich, now it's going lean again. So it's still trying to figure stuff out, and I've got to figure out what I've got to do next. But this is just a test of the system to see how it works, and that's a good thing. Yeah, see how rich it's getting? It's getting like super rich right there, and that's what's bogging it out. So there's something going on there. Not hot enough to get beginning to work, but we're not hot enough yet. All right, I'm going to shut it down. So clearly there's something going on there. All right. These are the seatbelts I got from Tyler, and what I did was throw them in a bin with a whole bunch of OxyClean. I did, I think, these 2 first and let them soak for a day or so, and then scrubbed them out and got them out, and they look a million times better. They're like super pliable now. They were like stiff and hard before. These 2 came out, and these are the 2 front seatbelts. These 2 came out, and they were the water was black. It was just disgusting. So once these came out and I got these done, I put the rest of them in, and the water from these all came out and it was brown. So I think somebody was a smoker and had like dirty clothes or something. This one I'm going to put back in, I think, because this stuff is there's still some yuck on here, and I'm going to try to scrub it out. And I might put this one back in because there's some stuff here, but the rest of these look fantastic. I'm really, really thrilled with the way these turned out. And this is that rear belt with the funny notch thing. I just spoke to a guy, or I just sent a guy on Instagram. This is the funky belt with the latch on it for the back. I just sent a guy on Facebook a message. He's got a couple of these. I think the belts that he has are brown, but I'm just going to check with him and see what he wants for him and stuff, because he's got 2 of these, and I'd love to get another one of these. I took a little bit of a break yesterday and loosened up the mounts for the fuel pump and for this fuel filter, and stuck a piece of rubber in between the fuel pump itself and the frame. You can't see it there because it's really dark. and then tighten everything back up. And I found that that had absolutely no effect whatsoever. This thing is still really loud when it turns on. I put one in between this and the frame rail, figuring that might also be the issue, but didn't see any real change there either, so that was kind of a bummer. So that's going to do it for this video. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. All those things help. If you have a comment, throw it down below. I do try to respond to those as much as I can. And as always, I've got merch. If you want to buy some stuff, all that money goes back into these trucks. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in a week or two.